Alright, hello everybody. Unfortunately for me, I'm losing my voice, which means you are going to talk more today instead of me. And the way you talk is going to be using Teams. Okay guys, so that's the platform you're going to use today. And I will ask you to record quite a lot today, so please be ready and please make your Teams is ready too. Okay, so we start here, and today is the next lesson number 3 of Ukrainian language and culture. But first, I have some copies from the last class. So could you please raise your hands if you are absent last class? I will give you the worksheet. Just one person, two, anyone else? Absent last week. Here we go. Anyone else? Okay, and we do start with some review, and your review is going to be pretty much the page with the products and the prices. So I hope you can order some Ukrainian food one day when we all can travel back. It's going to be for you, please. Okay, so number 1 is quite easy. So right now, one by one, you're gonna tell which food it is. I will write down in Latin, and then you've got to record on Teams by yourself. Okay, so let's practice together, and then you record by yourself. Okay, so what we've got to do, we have to say, what is it? And then we've got to say, this is, and then we've got the product. So how do you say what is it in Ukrainian? Yeah, that's good. So that's kind of weird letter that consists of 2 consonants. I'll say shotza. Yeah, and then you just have to say tsa, and we start with milk. So the question for you is going to be also milk. Yeah, that's good. And everyone will say that. And please make sure you say it, because afterwards you get to record by yourself. So make sure you say it now. Moloko, moloko. Okay, let's say tsa moloko. Okay, could you pass the microphone, please? So you've got the cake. How do you say this is a cake? Shotza. Yeah, that's good. Let's say tsa tort. Okay, the next thing is going to be meat. Could you pass it backwards somehow? Thank you so much. So the same question. What is it? Shotza. Yeah, good job. Let's say tsa miaso. Alright, then you have juice. So the question for you, Shotsa. Yeah, that's good. Let's say seek. And the next is going to be bread. So shotsa. Yeah, good job. Let's say sahib. Alright, it just repeats twice, so we move to the fish. Do you just pass it some in front of you? You get to say this is the fish. So shotsa. Yeah, that's good. Let's say river. Then you get cheese. How do you say this is cheese? Good. Let's say sir. And then you get water. How do you say this is water? Voda. Good. Let's say voda. And the next is quite long. You can say this is chocolate. Okay, let's say c'est chocolat. And the last is quite easy. Shotsa. Oh no, I don't think. Oh, okay. It just there is no word here, so maybe let's give it. Let's just move here. So shotsa. Chai, good, let's say chai. Alright, so in a second you're gonna record that on your teams. And now let's just repeat, okay? One more time before you say it by yourself. Let's go. Це молоко. Це торт. Це м'ясо. Це сік. Це хліб. Це риба. Це сир. Це вода. Це шоколад. І це чай. Guys, please try your best. Can you take out the teams and can you just say це молоко, це торт, це м'ясо? Just please keep going till the end, okay? So maybe like 3 minutes for that. Oh, I actually thought it's kind of interesting because it's something that Taiwanese people don't have, and like I guess none of the countries have. Have you ever heard of the Russian words? And probably I'm talking to those who have learned Russian. Have you ever heard of the word skvozняк? No. Okay, so the analogy to explain what's going on, I do know that in Taiwanese culture, sometimes people say that you have to sleep with your belly button covered, otherwise you get sick, right? Yeah, do. Some Taiwanese people say that, at least. I'm not sure if everyone believes in that, but I've heard that. So in Russian and Ukrainian culture, we have something similar, but we call it skvozняк. So we do say that if the window is open, and if the door is open, and you stand just here, this wind is called skvozняк. And we all say that skvozняк makes you sick. So, and it's kind of funny because there is no translation in English. I believe there is no translation in English, but many people believe in that. So now I'm gonna close the window because in my head it's skvozняк, it will make me more sick. But obviously it's kind of healthy, it's kind of mental too, because you kind of like you attract what you believe in, and I do believe in skvozняk. Alright, I hope you finished with that. And it's not just me, it's very cultural. Like when you grow up, teachers will be like, oh, close the window, you're sitting on skvozняк, you're gonna get sick. So we just grow up with this idea. And in Ukrainian, it's the same word. So it's called, oh, just write it down, skvozняk. Same pronunciation for like Russian and Ukrainian. Okay, so let's move to the next thing. Over here, you've got the question, how much does it cost? And then you have to say, it costs and the number. So who has a microphone? You do. Okay, let's start with the question first. We've got to say, how much is it? How do you say that? It's on the top, and it's kind of the material from the last class. How do you say, how much is it? How much does it cost? Okay, we'll start with stupid. Stupid is how many or how much, right? Let's say stupid. And then you have this costs. How do you say? And let's say again. Stupid це коштує. And then you can say це коштує. Yeah, and it's gonna have the numbers. So the numbers are like prices. And you get to say how much it costs. I hope you remember the numbers at this point, but let's just review them. Let's start with one. How do you say one? Okay, один, and then два, and then three, and then чотири, and then you have пять, it's good, and then шесть, okay, and then you have семь, okay, and then вісім, and then дев'ять, and the last one, 10. Alright, and let's start. And let's make it like a little dialogue. So the first person is gonna ask the question, the second person is gonna answer. Okay, so we take turns, question and answer. And just let's say it one more time before we start. So person A will ask the question. Let's say, скільки це коштує? And person B is gonna give the answer from these items one by one. And let's say, це коштує. Okay, let's go. So we start one by one. And the first person with the microphone, let's start with the question. Just press the sound, please. So you get to talk about milk. You have to say, it costs one. Good job. That's good enough. So it means it costs $1, $1, whatever. Let's move to the next question. You got to ask, how much is it? Skilke. Good job. Okay. And then you've got Miyaso. You've got to ask the question. Wait, you say no. I'm gonna help. It's not that scary. Oh, actually, could you pass it because the next person asked the question. Could you ask the question, please? You've got to ask how much is it. Skilke. It's just here. Skilke. Це коштує. Yeah, it means how much is it. You pass it to the next person. The next person has to say it costs 4 because we talk about sick now.
Yes, Oshia, good.
Oh, we're talking about meat. Okay, so коштує 3. And then the next person, please. So you're A, you get to ask how much is it? Skilke. Okay, skilke це коштує. You get to say it costs 4.
Yes, Oshia.
Good job. Хліб. Скільки? Good job. What's the 5?
Це коштує 5.
Good job. Let's move to fish. So, риба.
Скільки це коштує? Це коштує 8.
Okay, 8 is fine. Let's move to sir.
Скільки коштує?
Це коштує 7.
Good job. Let's move to chocolate. So, chocolate.
Це коштує
Good job.
Skilke się kosztuje 9.
9. Nice. And I will ask the question. Please read the answer. Okay? Could you pass it forward, please? So, I will ask you about the risk. Скільки це коштує?
Це коштує 50.
Okay, nice. I think it's quite easy, right? So we also did some review of the numbers. Let's do the roll call right now. Okay, guys, ready? 4 numbers. It's gonna be 3, 6, 5, 5. Oh, nice. That was confident. Okay, one more time. 3, 6, 5, 5. Do I need to show? It's going to be just here. So I have play, and then I have шість, and then I have п'ять, п'ять. So 3, 6, 5, 5. If you still didn't get it, it's just in front of you. So 3, 6, 5, 5. And it's all for the review. Now it's time for some new Ukrainian language. I have more worksheets for you guys today, so. Okay, so Ukrainian language in Ukrainian is Ukrainska mova, and mova is language, so that's what you see here, Ukrainian language. And today we just do some action words. We can go with hobbies today, so hobby. And the question is just here, so that's pretty much a question that will be like, what do you like to do? Thank you. So everyone knows this word in front by now? What is this word? Yeah, that's good. So the first word you see is going to be what? Like in the question shows that. Exactly the same. The second word you see is put, which means you, and then любиш is like, робити, to do. And just let's ask this question together. It's going to be що ти любиш робити. So the word here is a bit tricky because you see lit and you, right? So, but it's not you, it's softer. So it's lit and u, and we say любиш. Yeah, so if you want to make it this way, it actually looks like this. Because we've got to say soft L, which is lip, and then U. So it's lu. Lip, U, lu. Okay, can you say with me? Любиш. Okay, we'll practice more in a second, but let's just see the action words we got here. So here are some things that people can do, and we got to record them now for you to have in front of you. So please get your teams ready, and it's just going to be your words for today. I will check your pronunciation later, hopefully before next class. Next class, because you remember, we actually have to meet tomorrow. Can I just check who knows that they will come tomorrow? Because remember, next week, I'm not here, I'm on a business trip, that's why we have a makeup class tomorrow, right? So we kind of like decided that it's going to be tomorrow. Anyone who knows that they will come tomorrow, could you raise your hand, please? Okay, I hope it's going to be more, but let's see. So over here you have 6 action words, and we started with the one here. If you learned Ukrainian before, please tell me, how do you say to walk in Ukrainian? Good, let's say гуляти. Alright, and just please make your teams ready and let's record that. So in Ukrainian to walk, let's say гуляти. Please record in teams.
Yeah.
So number 2 over here is to play tennis. If it's your second semester, please help me. How do you say to play tennis? Okay, sounds good. Let's say it together. Грати у теніс. And everyone, please record on Teams, okay? One more time, it's грати у теніс. Okay, let's say to read in Ukrainian. How do you say to read? Good. Let's say it together. Читати. And let's record too. Okay, читати. So the next word is to cook. How do you say to cook in Ukrainian? Almost. Nice. Once again, готовити. Okay, готовити. And then number 7 is going to be to draw. How do you say to draw? Good job. And everyone, let's say малювати. So let's record too. Малювати. And the last is going to be to play, and we say play in tennis. Oh, sorry, play in football. So play football, we would say play in football in Ukrainian. So how do you say play football? Good, let's say грати у футбол. Okay, now it's your turn. So that's something you have in front of you. If you write fast, you can write it down. If not, please just match and maybe practice writing a bit later. But let's do it. Let's just connect the words to pictures. So number 1 is picture number 1. Maybe we can do the microphone. Sorry, could you start please? So what is number 1? Yeah, good job. So we can just match at this point. And let's say читати. Or maybe we can write down here. Maybe that's the easiest. Okay, let's move to this picture. So what do you see? The next person, please. Yeah, that's good. Everyone, let's say гуляти. This picture, please.
Малювати.
Good job. Let's say малювати. Okay, this picture to cook. Good job. Let's say готовити. Yeah, very good. And let's say грати у футбол. And you just have one more, which is play tennis. Very good. And then let's say грати у теніс. Okay, so that's some verbs that you can use in the future to just make sentences like I like to do something. Because actually these words are all infinitives. So they will be like to do something. Just like an infinitive in English. So it's like to read, to walk, to draw, and so on. So every time you see the ending to, it means it's an infinitive form, a dictionary form, the one you will see in the dictionary. And then we kind of need to play with it. But today we only learn how to make one word for each noun. And I'm sorry, if it's the first semester, it's going to be a bit tougher because we have learned pronouns already. Just for you guys, let's read the pronouns, and I'm gonna write it next to you so you can make some notes. By the way, you've got the same table, but it's just here. You see a bit smaller. It's on the right side, so you can make some notes here in your worksheet. So that's the word to love, to do something. Please don't use it for your loved person. If it's your boyfriend, girlfriend, someone you love, we don't say любити, we say something else. Do you remember? How do you say I love you to your romantic partner? Yeah? Cool. Hayo. Тебе. So Ukrainian is a bit strange. In Ukrainian language, if you want to address a person who you love and not your friend, not your mom, not your parent, but the loved person, we say this. And for anyone else, for your kids, for your parents, we use the word любити. So we kind of distinguish romantic love and any other form of love. So if it's for your boyfriend or girlfriend, let's say it will be Я кохаю тебе. Yeah. And for anything else that you like, it's going to be the word over here. So let's say любити. Yeah, it's to love, but for anything else. And let's see, so here we have the pronouns. Let's start with the first pronoun, I. How do you say I? Yeah, that's good. Let's say yeah. Then we have the next pronoun, which is you. How do you say you? Yeah, that's good. Let's say ты. Then you have two more. You have he and she. How do you say he? Yeah, good. Maybe I'll slow down a bit for those who are new. So in Ukrainian, he is going to be, let's say, він. And then she, yeah, that's good. Let's say вона. So for now you have я, ти, він, вона. And let's move to plurals. So if it's plural, we'll get the first one, we. How do you say we? Мы. Good job. Let's say мы. And then this is plural you. So it means, for example, you guys. Or also, we actually use it to show respect to someone. If you talk to your teacher or someone you don't know, like a stranger, you will use plural to in Ukrainian. Plural you. So it's you, plural, meaning many, like many guys. How do you say you? Good, that's good. Let's say good. And the last is going to be they. How do you say they? That's good. Let's say вони. And so, if it's your first semester, I believe it's going to be harder for you. So please just try to remember I and you. You don't need to remember the rest. You just can ask the question, what do you like to do? And then you can say, I like something, something. Maybe we can try to make this question. Actually, we did it before. Do you remember how to ask, what do you like? What do you like to do? Yeah, sure, it's good. And then, любиш, good job, it's just in front of you. And then, to do is going to be робити. And then, let's move to the first thing. So, how would you say, I love to do something? Yeah, and then, so, as you can see, the endings are slightly different, but don't be too scared of them. It's actually quite easy. There are just two groups of verbs in Ukrainian, and once you remember these endings, all other verbs are kind of adjusted the same way. So we get to take the word люб, the first root of the word, and we have to add different endings. So for example, if you want to say I love, that's the word you're going to say. So I love to read, for example, would be я люблю читати. So it's just here. You've got люб, and the ending is лю. And let's say я люблю, which means I love. And then let's say you love. How do you say you love? Yeah, that's good. Let's say ты любишь. And then you have he loves. How do you say he loves? Good, let's say він любить. And then you've got she loves. How would you say that? Good, let's say вона любить. And then we can say we love. So over here is ending emo. How do you say we love? Good. Let's say ми любимо. And then you love. How would you say that? Good. Let's say ви любите. And then you have they love. Let's say вони люблять. Okay, so what we do now, can we just record that? And it's only for you to be able to listen to yourself later. Okay, so I will say I love, please record, and then we'll go one by one, okay? So let's start with number one, I love. And maybe you can also make some notes for yourself. Maybe like you can text like I love, and then you record, so you know later what's going on, okay? So you can make some notes for yourself for later. Okay, let's go. I love in Ukrainian я люблю. Okay, let's move to you love. Maybe you can write it down to you love. Let's say ты любишь. Alright, then you have he, she loves. Let's say він, вона любить. Alright, let's say ми любимо. The next thing, ви любите. Okay, and listen, вони люблять. Sorry, it's slightly different from my Mac, and Mandarin doesn't help. Is this in like to go away, to leave, right? Is it? I think so, okay. I'm not sure. Oh, this one, right? It's just the answer, so I want to hide them from you. I guess that's the one. But I'm not sure, okay. And this. Alright, okay. Let's do it this way. Okay, so it's your next exercise 2. You've got some sentences and you have to fill in which verb is missing. And you just have to check the pronoun pretty much. And after you know which pronoun, you can check the table and see which ending it is. So it's not that hard. It's not us here. So, who has a microphone? Let's read the first sentence. Okay, do you want to try? You get to say Thomas is an athlete. How would you say that? So it's actually very easy. You get to say Thomas is a sportsman. How do you say it in Ukrainian?
Thomas Sportsman.
Good job, everyone. Let's say Thomas sportsman. Uh-huh. And then over here, a bit harder, you get to say he plays tennis. Could you pass it to the next person, please? Maybe you can try to read first. You get to say he something something plays tennis. Play tennis. How do you say he? Good job. How do you say play tennis? Good job. And do you know which verb you need? So you say he loves to play tennis. That was good. And then wait. Okay. Good job. And everyone, let's say that. Він любить грати у теніс. Yeah, you get to say he loves, and it's just here. So please write it down. Любить. He loves to play tennis. Він любить грати у теніс. Okay, it was good. I think you've done it, so maybe you can pass it to someone else. So the next sentence, over here, you get to say mom and dad very much love to walk. Yeah, it's very good, it's perfect. Just if it's your first classes, please remember this weird looking letter is both, it's the same. Okay, so you just said mom and dad love to walk very much. So in Ukrainian, very much is this word дуже. And we put it before the verb. So in English we put it at the end. In Ukrainian we'll put it before the word. So for example, if you want to say I love you very much, you just put дуже here. And you have я дуже кохаю тебе. I love you so much. And over here, mom and dad love to walk very much. Let's say mama і тато дуже люблять гуляти. Okay, let's move to the next sentence. So here you have a question, and the question is, your son likes to cook, and молодець is kind of a weird word. It pretty much means good boy or like good job. So it's very normal for a teacher to say молодець, which means like good job kids or good job students. Or if you're with your friend and he did something nice, you could also say молодець. It's just like well done. All right, so who's next? Over here, you get to read, please. So you get to say he loves to cook. Good job.
See the birthday of Beijing.
Oh, can you tell me again which one do you use? You said you get to use he because sin is he. Sin is son. So Sam loves to cook, and this word is
Beat.
very good. Okay. And everyone, let's say that. Син любить готувати. Yeah, and it's a question. The only difference, the intonation goes up a bit. So, son loves to cook. Does your son love to cook? Maybe over time. Let's go. Син любить готувати. And then you get to say good job. How do you say good job? Good job. Let's say молодець. Nice. And the last sentence is gonna be for someone next. And over here, you've got a question and the answer.
We low it.
Yeah, very good. Do you know the translation of the sentence? Oh, it's just here. Look. If you ask, що ти любиш робити, it means what do you like to do? And over here you've got, що ви любите робити. What does it mean? Oh, I didn't mean it to be tricky. Just like, what do you guys like to do, right? Що ви любите робити? And maybe let's say it together. Let's go. Що ви любите робити? And you get to say, we love to play football. How do you say that? Любимо, good job, and then? Yeah, that's good. And everyone, let's say that. Ми любимо грати у футбол. Okay. So all we did now, we just looked at the pronoun, and then that's how we know what verb you need to use. And here, obviously, it's a bit more tricky because sin is he. You just need to think about that, and mama and tato is they. That's how you know. All right, so that was a little grammar exercise. Let's move to the next part. So over here, we just have to say, I love to do something and I don't love to do something. Very easy in Ukrainian, we just need to use this word na. And na means I don't. So instead of я люблю, we add na, and you get я не люблю. And automatically you have I don't love something. So maybe let's practice. I will say I love to do something, and you just have to say you don't love to do it, okay? And we'll use the same verb. Who has a microphone now? Okay, I will say I love to cook, you have to say I don't love to cook, okay? So, я люблю готовити. What do you say? So I'm actually not using this. I'm just saying a random sentence, kind of random. I say, I love to cook. Я люблю готовити. And you have to say, I don't love to cook. How do you say that? You just have to repeat after me, and then you need to use na. Then you will say, I don't love to do something. Okay? It's just the first sentence. Я не люблю готовити. Could you please just read the sentence over here? Я не люблю готовити. Okay, that's good. Could you please pass it to the next person? Exactly the same. I will say, I love to play football. Please say, I don't love to play football. Okay, who's next? Please pass it to someone. Я люблю грати у футбол. Okay, that's good. So the next thing, I say I love to read. Я люблю читати. Good. And I say I love to walk. Я люблю гуляти. What do you say? Okay, that's good. So we need that just to make sentences yes and no. And maybe you remember, how do you say yes in Ukrainian? Tak, that's good. So in Ukrainian, yes is this word, tak. And how do you say no in Ukrainian? Ni, that's good. And let's say ni. So over here, very easy. You get to say, do you love to play football? And in Ukrainian, the question is all the same with the statement, just the intonation needs to go up. So for example, you say, you love to play football, would be ти любиш грати у футбол. But if you want to ask the question, do you love to play football? You just go up. That's the only difference. So no helping words like in English. So once again, do you love to play football? Let's say, ти любиш грати у футбол? And then you have two options. You could say, yes, I love to play football. How do you say that? Okay, let's say, так, я люблю грати у футбол. And then you could use this word here, which is like, and you? In Ukrainian, it's, yeah, good, let's say, а ты? Yeah, and for example, you could say, yeah, me too. How do you say me too? Yeah, you don't have it, but maybe you can write it down just here. Can you see? If you want to say me too, it's just this word. Let's say, я теж, which means me too. And maybe let's just make a slightly different sentence. How would you ask? Do you love to read? That's good. So you would just say ти любиш читати? And let's say, yes, I love to read. That's good. Let's say, так, я люблю читати. And then let's ask, and you? А ты? Good job. And let's say, me too. Yeah, that's good. Once again, я теж. Yeah, which means me too. And let's do the same, but this time you don't like to play football. So if someone asks you, ти любиш грати у футбол, and you say no, what would you say? Ні. Good. Let's say ні, я не люблю футбол. And here you have, and you? А ти? And in Ukrainian, you would also say me too. So like we don't have me neither or me too. It's just the same word. You just agree with someone. Like I agree, whatever. Let's say я теж. So if you don't like football, you would just say я теж. So me neither and me too is all the same. All right. So actually, the last thing I hope. Oh, I didn't hear it was a ring bell. Sorry, we kind of. After, let's have a breakdown and then come back. So, let's come back at 6:04, I think it's fair, okay?
如果他6点半，
我想到可以去。
2个我。
哎，我们在等。
加入什么？英文字。那你在新加坡呀？对呀。
Alright, stop.
我看过，我看过。
中国都是本地的，现在都是欧美的一起没有。
但是很多角色都变黑人，变搞笑。
我就想起是长得好笑，
其实他长得蛮好看的，
其他很适合，但是可以看他的。
感觉配人跟那个微微都蛮好笑的，炫酷的那个人，微微也蛮有那个人。我上班2点半，但我在想，我上2点半有点4个小时起来，对，而且我要怎么办？他每天都要看不爽。没有3个月还好，是感动的进去。昨天晚上，昨天天气很好。不管是我刚休息，然后想一下。今天没有上班的，没事的事，
我刚刚在，你现在去了怎么了？第一条位，第二次的可以用，然后再去一起蔬菜什么的。现在是都是蔬菜什么？
但是我觉得可以。
我今天那个你这个人考试这个，
长大了，我
上班吃吧。
其实我觉得更好，比较画面。但是这个第一头都已经讲到了，大家开始。所以大部分然后这次，然后还有他，然后变成领域大的那个，在斗野上跟平常，我看我 AD 一开始，
第一题真的超快，那剩下的几个，
剩下的第一题我都被撞到了。记起来超快。对，它是就是才，然后是资源学。
所以那个后来才给我看一下，打字的，
你还记得？我都照翻这个字去吧。
我也算，
我就看哪个字精确不去。
这个分数高。
完蛋，那个那个。那你就跟当起从你们记忆，
你这个去了，
我让你这个三强。
那个然后也发现，
空傻笑。
我们还是情绪。你看，因为上面相当于然后他们是
也可以打电话给你家宝，找一个可以聊天的。
是美金不少。40美金不少。
一天回4天，
一天都可以刷。
就是说你可以自己，你可以自己跟那个
刚刚说列要来。
电池没有开。
带钱进。我1年没有，理论上。对啊，1年要用钱10几万，应该超过。那特殊币上市，特殊国际银行，所以你现在有大量贷款。
Alright, we'll start again. So this time you have to record something on Teams with your partner. So could you please make sure you've got someone next to you because it's going to be a working pair in a second. What you have to do, you have to record a question and the answer, and then you switch to your phone and you record the question and the answer. And the question is going to be easy. You've got to ask, do you love, and you have to say one of the action words we know, and your partner will say, yes, I love it, or no, I don't love it. And that's pretty much it. And then you ask one more question. Let's just practice just to know what you're going to do, but I promise it's quite easy. Maybe, let's get started. So In a second, you get to do the same. You have to ask, do you love something? And your partner should say, yes, I love something, or no, I don't love it. Okay, can we just practice? Like, just pretend that you're a pair now. You're working with the partner. Could you ask, do you love? And you can choose one of those. Good job. Oh, sorry. Ty lubisz gulaty? Good job. Okay. Ty lubisz karate tennis? And you get to answer. Yes, please. Sorry for pointing. Can your partner answer, please? Do you like to play tennis? You have to say yes. What do you mean? I think you can do it. I will help you. Let's go. How do you say yes in Ukrainian? Good job. And just don't forget to say yes. Так. Good job. Once again. Так, я люблю грати у теніс.
Так, я люблю грати у теніс.
Good job. All right. And let's do the same. So, can you ask one more question, please? Did you just say гуляти? To walk? Do you love to walk? Is it what you said? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it. Did you say ти любиш гуляти? Okay, good job. And please pass it to the same lady. I'm sorry, you can answer again. Ти любиш гуляти? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, then люблю.
Yeah, it's perfect. Okay, I guess everyone got what they need to do, right? So one question, one answer, and then you switch. If you really cannot find the partner, you're too shy, just please keep the question and the answer for yourself, okay? So please choose one of the action words, ask the question, get the answer, and then you switch. And that's it. We keep going then. Please record on the teams.
Ty lubisz tenis? Ty lubisz tenis网球？
没有，我在想我喜欢吗？
那你喜欢散步吗？Ty lubisz gulać? Tak.
Gulać. Ty lubisz czytać?
Tak, ja lubię czytać.
Ja nie lubię czytać.
你不喜欢？
没有到不喜欢的。
哦，好，还有什么可以问的？我想一下。Tu lubisz football?
Tak, ja lubię football. Ty lubisz dowody?
Hodowy. Tak, ja lubię hodowy. Ty lubisz maliować?
Tak, ja lubię maliować.
他们都问过了，对吧？
对，
胡聊天舞 tennis，胡聊天舞 football。
他只有6个。
对，6个。好。所以你喜欢画画吗？
画画喜欢，但是就是类似缠绕画那种。
哦，缠绕画就是那种主题的那种。
如果你要我画像这种人，不行。
哦，我也是，我喜欢没有压力的。
你要画实体物品不行。你是什么系的？
我是日文。你是会计的？
对。
那你要去师大吗？
应该会啊。没有意外。但不知道有没有意外。
可是师大好像蛮伤肝的。
那都一样。是，只要财务人员多数。
会超过12小时哦。
就是忙的时候就会啊，就像现在是忙的。
Alright, ready? Yes? Okay. So, the next step we do is pretty much me introducing the biggest writer we have in Ukraine. And over here you can see Dva Ukrainska literatura, which means Ukrainian literature. So, it's quite interesting because any Ukrainian place you go to, let's imagine you go to Ukrainian kindergarten, you go to Ukrainian embassy in Japan, or you go to Ukrainian university, there is always this one man looking at you from the wall. And I really like to tell the story. It's a bit childish, but when you're in the kindergarten in Ukraine, this man is always watching you too when you go to sleep. So when you're a little kid, and I was like maybe 5 years old, and we had to take a nap, and you cannot really fall asleep because he's always watching you. And then, of course, over age, you understand that he's a great writer and all that, but he might be a bit intimidating. And trust me, he's everywhere. That's like the biggest figure in Ukraine. And over here is his name. And I hope you can remember his name, because if you ever talk to an Ukrainian, that's like a big person for us. And let's say his name is Taras Shevchenko. So he's obviously our legend. He's a poet, he's a painter, he's the biggest activist who protected Ukrainian language. And then he was fighting for the national identity of Ukraine when Ukraine was the part of Russia. And just a few facts about him that make him even greater. So that's the age when he was born. He was born in a small village in Ukraine. And back then, it wasn't Ukraine. Do you know how it was called back then, when it was the part of Russia? So back then, it was called Little Russia. And it's kind of sad, but when Russia started the war with Ukraine in 2022, one of their mottos was like, we hope Russia, Little Russia, Belarus can unite again. And then they kind of started it in 2022. And what's interesting about him is that he was born as a serf, and being born as a serf back then means you just had to serve your master, and you don't learn how to read, you don't learn anything pretty much. You're just working for a master. But he's self-taught. So he was a little boy and he just taught himself how to read, how to draw, and it's even more amazing, which means he's a natural talent, right? And then his master, just here, his name was Pablo Engelhardt, saw that he was gifted. So he actually sent him to St. Petersburg to teach him how to draw. Then it was actually his road to freedom. Let's see. So first he traveled to a city in Lithuania known as with his master, and that's where he saw that Polish people were fighting for independence too. And he decided that he can do it the same way as Polish people can do. So then he arrives at St. Petersburg and he meets this person, the painter, who he gets the official training from. And then he starts to talk to lots of famous painters in Russia over there, and he becomes a close friend of them. So those people, the artists in Russia, decide to buy Shevchenko from his master. So they had a big auction, and they sold a painting for 2,500 rubles, and they paid that money to his master, and that's how he got free. So the artist in Russia bought Shevchenko from his master, and they kind of gifted him the freedom. And since then he was free, and that's actually the picture by Shevchenko. Oh no, sorry, by Petro Suleimanko about Shevchenko. That's him over here, selling the picture and becoming a free man. Okay, so actually, it's kind of contradiction that Russian people bought him, because after that, no one could stop Shevchenko, and he only talked about his love to Ukraine. He was supposed to stay in Russia after that, but all he was doing, he was promoted Ukrainian language, he was writing the Ukrainian language, and he was talking about Ukraine being independent, and he hated the slavery. So it's kind of sad because the year he died, the slavery was cancelled. So he never knew that the slavery was stopped at some point, but he was fighting against it all the time. And this book over here is called Kobzar, and that's the biggest book written by him. Lots of good poetry. If you have a chance, I think it's translated to Mandarin, but I believe simplified Mandarin, but maybe you can try to find it. It's called Kobzar. And Kobzar is this person over here. It's someone who goes from village to village and he plays this instrument called bandura, and he tells his stories. A bit off topic, but we actually call Shevchenko Kobzar, just to show our respect to him. Even though he was never doing that, but that's our way to show our respect to him. Right. Let's see. So, as I said, he was always fighting for Ukraine, and that was the reason why he got into the exile, which means Tsar Nikolai said that Shevchenko cannot be working with people, he needs to live somewhere far away by himself, and he sends him to Siberia, forbidding him to write or paint. But guess what, he never stopped. He spent 10 years in exile, but secretly he was always writing and always drawing, so he was very rebellious, and he is the symbol for Ukrainian freedom, because he was the one who would always promote Ukraine. I wrote down, obviously I didn't, I copy-pasted this poetry over here. You can check it out on your worksheet. If you are a kid in Ukraine, that's the poetry that you learn every single year of your middle school. So it's within the brain of every Ukrainian. If you wake me up at night, I can tell this poetry easily. It's in the brains of every Ukrainian. Maybe we can start with the translation in English. And this poetry pretty much tells all his life. So you can see what was going on with him in 1847. So it goes like, it makes no difference to me if I shall live or not in Ukraine, or whether anyone will think of me with foreign snow and rain. It makes no difference to me. In slavery I grew with strangers, unwept by any kin of mine. In slavery I now will die and vanish without any sign. I shall not leave the slightest trace upon our glorious Ukraine, our land, but not as ours now. No father will remind his son or say to him, repeat one prayer for him, for our Ukraine. They tortured him in their full layer. It makes no difference to me if the son says a prayer or not. It makes great difference to me that evil folk and wicked men attack our Ukraine, once so free, and rob and plunder it at will. It makes great difference to me. So, just from this poetry, you can pretty much see the whole story of Ukraine. He was born as a slave, had to move to Russia. He felt that no one remembers him, but he was always fighting for Ukraine. And his biggest mission was to say that Ukraine still exists, and he hopes that every next generation will just fight for Ukraine. So, pretty much that's the poetry. And what I wanted to do now, we're gonna listen to the same poetry in Ukrainian. And this time it's not going to be me, it's going to be our greatest actor. His name is Bogdan Stupka, and he's the one reading this poetry in Ukrainian. So what I hope we can do, I hope we can read the first part together because it's the most famous one, and then you stop reading after him and he will just continue and you can follow. Okay? That's what we do. Alright, so Bogdan Stupka, Mені однаково. And мені однаково means it makes no difference. Could you say it please? Мені однаково. That's correct. Okay, so he's gonna read one line. You can follow and repeat after him, please.
Мені однаково, чи буду я жить в Україні чи ні. Чи хто згадає, чи забуде,
Забуде.
мене в снігу на чужині.
Окей, мене в снігу на чужині.
Однаковісінько мені.
Many. That's a very long word. He kind of made it up because it actually should be однаково, but he kind of made this word up. So однаковісінько мені. And the rest, let's just listen, okay? So the first part is the most famous, and then let's just listen. No need to repeat after him.
В неволі виріс між чужими, і неоплаканий своїми, в неволі плачучи умру, і все з собою заберу, малого сліду не покину, на нашій славній Україні, на нашій, не своїй землі. І не по...
Sorry, if you could hear, he got a bit sadder here because he said "на нашій, не своїй землі." So he was saying about Ukraine, and then he was like, "It's our land," but actually it's not ours anymore, meaning it's under Russia.
М'яний батько з сином не скаже синові: молись, молися, сину, за країну, його замучили колись. Мені однаково, чи буде той син молитися, чи ні. Та не однаково мені, як Україну злії люди присплять лукаві і вогні, її окраденою збудять. Ох, не однаково мені.
And it's very strange because if you read this poetry nowadays, it pretty much repeats the cycle of what back then Little Russia went with Russian Empire. And even, I'm not sure if you've seen those videos, but there are lots of videos of Ukrainian soldiers going to occupied territories once they free them up. And there will be like lots of posters in Russian. And there is one famous video where they pretty much tear the Russian poster down, and there is the picture of Shevchenko, and there is his poetry over there. So, what it means, during safe times, there was just Shevchenko with the poetry, and then the war happened, and they hit him with some Russian propaganda. And then once Ukrainian soldiers went back to the territory and put the Russian slogan down, it was still Shevchenko. And for us, he's a symbol of everything. He's a symbol that our nation will still live. So he's the greatest because he gives us lots of hope and lots of belief that everything's going to be all right. And I just hope you can remember his name if you ever talk to any Ukrainians. He's the most famous author we have. And it's just some data about him. So he has lived only 47 years of life. He has spent 10 years in exile, meaning he had to live somewhere in Siberia, surrounded by other criminals back then. And by criminals, it would be anyone who was fighting for Ukraine. So the Russian Empire didn't like it. They would catch those people and send them in exile. Then in those 47 years, he was able to create around 800 artworks, including pictures and poetry and books. That's the year when Kobzar, his biggest book, was published. And by these countries who honor him, and it's 30 plus, it means these countries have either his monument or the square or the park named after him, which is kind of impressive because there are 30 countries in the world where some place or some monument is after him. So he's quite a big deal. He's a big person and a big fighter for democracy and freedom of Ukraine back then. All right, that was the short story of Shevchenko, and what we do now, I'm actually not sure if we have time for Cossacks. Maybe we can talk about them next time. What I want to do more is to talk about Ukrainian food. So over here, that's what you have. Let's say Ukrainska їжа. And just in front of you, you have this list of Ukrainian food that is like the most famous Ukrainian food. And that's something I wanted to talk with you about. But first, okay, let's see this first.
So today, I'm
Sorry, a bit loud.
eating like the average.
Okay, so it's just him trying Ukrainian breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
One of the oldest food cultures in Eastern Europe, with over 1,000 years of rich flavorful history. So today, I'm eating like the average Ukrainian to see if their food really lives up to the hype. Starting with breakfast, where a classic morning combo is sednike, cottage cheese pancakes with sweet toppings, and kompot, a fruit drink brewed with sugar and spices. The sweet and savory mix in these pancakes actually works so well, and the spices in the kompot are actually delicious. We actually need to normalize fruit drinks with spices in them.
Okay, maybe you can find it here. So he was drinking kompot. Kompot is not on the list, but then he had some cottage cheese pancakes. Can you find them here? Yeah, that's good. The last thing over here. Can you see it? Let's say sirniki. So sirniki are pan-fried cottage cheese pancakes. They pretty much taste like any cheesecake, but the way you make them is slightly different because you need a cottage cheese. And then you fry it with sugar and some flour, and we usually add some jam, and we have it for breakfast. I highly recommend, but maybe not in Taiwan, because it's really hard to find cottage cheese, and it's very expensive here. So those I tried here, they would add too much flour, and it doesn't really taste authentic. But if you go to Bali or any other place with lots of Russians, Thailand or Bali, they actually have a good representation of Ukrainian cuisine. And by the way, do you know any Ukrainian restaurants in Taiwan? Yeah, there are two of them actually. So one of them is the one here in Kaohsiung. It's called Hata. Please don't try their sirniki because it doesn't taste like sirniki, but anything else on the menu is good. And then this place actually I've never been to, but I've heard it's also quite good. It's in Ilan. So there is a Ukrainian cafe. Maybe if you try it, please tell me if you like it, because I haven't tried it. But Hata is quite good. It's authentic. The owner is Ukrainian. Not sure about this place. Do Did you have a chance to go there, anyone? No, not yet. Okay. And then let's go back and see what he has for lunch.
Now moving on to lunch, where many Ukrainians enjoy borscht, beetroot soup, vareniki, which are dumplings, and holubtsi, which are cabbage rolls. Even before trying it, this smells divine. All I'm gonna say is if you haven't tried Ukrainian food before, you need to try it ASAP. I could easily eat this every day for the rest of my life. And finally...
Alright, let's see what he had. He had 3 things. Can you find them? Yeah, so number 1, it's just here on the top of the list. And maybe let's say borscht. That's the biggest item we have in Ukrainian cuisine. So it's the beetroot soup, and every Ukrainian loves it. It's in our DNA, it's in our blood. Hata sells very good borscht, highly recommend it. So he had borscht, anything else he had? So he had Ukrainian dumplings. How do you call them? Yeah, good job. Let's say vareniki. So we say they're slightly different from dumplings because they can be savory or sweet. So it could be potatoes or meat or cabbage or cherries or strawberries. And we don't eat them with soy sauce. Do you know what we have them with? It's sour cream. So if you're Ukrainian, you just add sour cream to all of these dishes. That's what we do. So you guys have soy sauce for the majority of dishes, I believe, and for us it's sour cream with everything. Borscht? Yes. Please add sour cream to borscht. That's correct. That's the only way to have it. Okay, so he had vareniki, he had borscht, and he also had the cabbage rolls. So it's pretty much rice, meat, carrot in the cabbage roll. How do you call it? Yeah, that's the one. It's number 4 from below. Just here, let's say holubtsi. And actually might be quite funny because holubtsi means little pigeons. And yeah, obviously there is no pigeon meat, it's just normal meat, it's just the name. And let's see what he has for dinner.
Big dinner time, with a super popular choice being chicken Kiev, a crispy herb butter stuffed chicken breast, kielbasa, oselets, and pickled vegetables. Now this is an amazing dinner, and the chicken Kiev is the best part. The sides also complement it beautifully, especially the pickled vegetables. They might not sound appetizing, but the taste is the complete opposite. And that's what the average Ukrainian eats in a day. Not only some of the most delicious food I've ever had, but a country of strong, proud people who stand up for what's right. Slava Ukraini, what country should I do next?
Alright, okay, very short introduction from the real. Maybe just something I wanted to introduce right here is this chicken Kiev. Well, I love chicken Kiev. It's just a chicken leg, and then you fry it, but inside of it you have butter with some, sorry, I forgot the word, like dill and maybe some other greens, and it's delicious. If you ever had a chance, I highly recommend it. It's divine, it's delicious. Really nice cutlet. The only difference from the one in Taiwan, I would say, maybe the shape and that it has butter and salt and the greens inside, but it works nicely. Alright, so what we do next, I just want to play this little reel. Have you seen it? So it's called This or That. Okay, so pretty much it's like this or that, and it's like a huge trend on Instagram, if you've seen. We're gonna do the same, but with Ukrainian food. So that's how you say this or that in Ukrainian. Yeah, so this you know already. Let's say tse. Or it's gonna be this word, let's say chi. And that would be this word, ta. So maybe I will just write it down in Latin. Tse. Sorry. Chi ta. Which means this or that. Let's say tse chi ta. And we will just have 5 rounds of Ukrainian food. Who has a microphone? Do you guys have a microphone? Oh, okay. So, very easy. You get to read something or something, and then you get to choose one. And maybe not everyone gets the round, but let's just think about it. So, do you want to do it, or do you want to pass it to someone? I feel like you've just done it, so maybe it's someone behind you. Okay, so over here you have the question. The question would be, what do you love more? And maybe we can do it together. How do you say it? Більше. Good job. So more in Ukrainian is більше. And the first part, I hope you recognize by now. So what do you love? Let's say, що ти любиш? Що ти любиш більше? Yeah, you get to say what do you love more, this or that. And obviously for you, just like what do you want to try more? Okay? Let's see. So number 1 is good job. How do you say or? And then dumplings will be good. Everyone, let's say борщ чи вареники. So what about you? What would you want to try? Вареники. Okay, and let's say I love вареники. Я люблю вареники. That's good. So let's say together. Я люблю вареники. Alright, and just some fun facts. So борщ, actually Cossacks, do you remember those warriors? So they would carry, oh sorry, why is it cross? It's supposed to be borщ. Okay, it's a mistake, because this one is about a drink. Okay, so the fun fact about borщ that I know is that it was UNESCO that kind of said that borщ is Ukrainian heritage. So it's kind of under UNESCO protection now. Borщ is. And as you can see, it's always with the sour cream. And normally it has like beef, potatoes, cabbage, beetroot, and tomatoes. If one day you have a chance to come across, please try it. It's the best dish Ukrainians have. And that's the second one, vareniki. As I said, it can be potatoes, cheese, cherries, or anything. Just anything you imagine. Alright, what's in the second round? Could you please pass it to someone? So this time you get to ask something or something.
Salo.
Good job.
She. Pasta.
Very beautiful. So let's read together. Everyone, please. Let's say salo. Czy kovbasa. Okay, so as much as Ukrainians love borщ, please remember this, salo. We love salo. And if you ever go to Hata, remember Hata, this place, you have to try their salo, because actually it got the Michelin star in 2024, which I think is kind of cool for a Ukrainian restaurant. So salo is pork, and it can have more fat or less fat, and usually it's fermented with salt, and it's very interesting flavor. Actually, I don't think you would think it's like anything like very different from Taiwanese food. It's just pork, and it's just marinated in a kind of way. So it's very nice. Please try it if you have a chance. Okay, but for you, please, you got to choose the sausage or sala. What would you choose? Okay, and let's see. Okay, sorry, the AI made it, so that's why there is a problem. Do you remember this part? Like last time we were talking that if you have I want something, the feminine needs to change. Remember, if the S was on. So the same works here. So if you have a sentence like subject, verb plus object, the object needs to change. Do you remember how we don't say what do we say? Ooh. Remember that. So, if you want to say I love sausage, it would be
Я дал
good job. And everyone would say я люблю колбасу. Alright, and let's see what, so Sala. Sala never spoils, they say, and Cossacks would carry it around back then. And kolbasa, it's just, I guess, normal everywhere. But I would say Taiwanese people tend to have sweet sausages, and for us it doesn't have any sugar, I would say, or less sugar maybe. Alright, let's move to these two. So every time you have borscht, and I hope you remember borscht with this guy, please have them with pampushke. So pampushke is just bread, but it's covered in garlic butter. And so it's kind of like softer, and the garlic butter goes through it, and it's just great. Maybe you can try to make it at home, because if you can bake, it's kind of an interesting dish to bake as well. And all the ingredients are available here. And that's the name, actually. How do you say it? Pampushke. Yeah, let's say pampushke. And this guy is just a cake with honey. It's kind of interesting, because normally we would add sour cream-based cream, but I feel like maybe you guys are not very used to it. So, for example, in South Korea, this cake became very popular. Actually, lots of bakeries in South Korea have this cake named medivnik or milivnik in Russian, but they don't use sour cream. They use like the sweet cream, the normal cream. So it's slightly different. But if you go to like Russian bakeries in South Korea, you can ask for the authentic one, and they will give you the sour cream-based cream. And let's read the name. So how do you say the honey cake? That's good. Let's say medivnik. All right, who's next? Could you please pass the microphone to someone? So you get to choose, and maybe could you read first? You get to say. Sorry.
pampushke 是
Medivnik.
medivnik.
Okay, you get to choose. Pampushki czy medivnik?
Я люблю pampushke.
Okay, я люблю pampushki. That's good. So please remember, we always have them with borscht. Like that's a big part of borscht eating culture. And medivnik is the honey cake, since Ukrainians have actually lots of honey producers, and we have lots of honey. Okay, let's move to the next two. So these guys on the right is pretty much similar to hash browns. I think they're called like potato pancakes from American breakfast. But these you can also find in the Middle East cuisine. Slightly different though, because we add tomatoes and they usually do not. But these guys are just very easily cooked in Taiwan as well. It's rice, carrots, onions, beef, and then you wrap them in cabbage. And then the tomato sauce. And it's a very nice dish. Maybe you can try to cook at home, because it's quite easy to make at home if you just follow the recipe. Okay, you get two guys. How do you call them? Good, let's say whole tea. Then we can ask the question, chi, and these guys are darone. Yeah, and those are just potato pancakes. Alright, could you please read the question again, and then we choose. Oh, let's say whole tea. Good job. Holopsi czy darone? What do you choose? Okay, good, thank you. And so, as I said, holopsi actually means little pigeons from Ukrainian or Russian. And there is no pigeon meat, I promise. Darone are just potato pancakes. And these two, so number one, it's kind of It's gonna taste like beer, but with no alcohol. How do you call it? Yeah, let's say kvass. And then you have these guys that are kind of like our cheesecake pancakes. How do you call them? Oh, sorry, the stress is here. Sırnıkı. Okay, who's next? Let's ask the question. Something or something.
Kavas, Chi, Sydney.
What do you choose?
Yeah, Lulu, Kavas.
Okay, that's good. And so kvass is just a fermented bread drink, and it's very old. It's more than 1,000 years old. And sırnıkı are our cottage cheese pancakes. All right, so over here, we can also say good job, everybody. If it's just one person, we say молодец, but if it's many people, we use this word here. Oh, maybe, can we go letter by letter? What do you see? M, and then O, and then L, O, D, S, and the last is E. So that's plural. Like, everyone did a good job. Good job, I don't know, like boys and girls, everybody. Let's say молодцы. And maybe the last thing I want you to do, could you please record one sentence? Could you please choose one food that you want to try? And it's up to you. You can pretty much say, I want that, or maybe you can say, я люблю. It's up to you. So obviously you haven't tried it yet, but what do you think you would like on such Ukrainian food? Can you choose one for yourself? And maybe we can say, can we go one by one? So борщ, вареники, сало, ковбаса, пампушки, медівник, голубці, деруни, квас, сирники. So the last thing you record on Teams, could you please say what you want or what you like? It's up to you. So maybe you could say, я люблю сало. Obviously you haven't tried it, but just what do you think you would like? Alright, and that's all for today. So, дякую, до побачення. Дякую, бувайте.
Yeah.